Disclaimer: I doesn't claim any of the arts. All the picture shown belongs to the respective artist and company. If you are original owner and want me to remove the video, I will do it immediately. Just send me an email to inform me. And if you liked my content, please subscribe to the channel. Chapter begins, and we see Pharaoh Ragnar announced the beginning of the third stage of a meeting with the clan head. He warned, anything can happen during this meeting. It's a test where everything depends on the clan head. This meeting would determine if anyone would be chosen for the clan head's manor, as all 5 main candidates had previously served there. Pharaoh Ragnar explained, being chosen for the clan head's manor means you are recognized as a strong candidate for succession. Theo felt uneasy, his eyes narrowing. So the one waiting for us at the top must be the clan head, he thought. Why do I sense Lodbrok's energy? He wondered, his voice filled with suspicion and a hint of fear. Realizing something, he thought, could it be? The one who took Lodbrok's heart is clan head Kyle Ragnar. Theo suspected that Kyle Ragnar was responsible for taking Lodbrok's heart. Pharaoh Ragnar urged them on. Now overcome your fear and greet the clan head. The 4 candidates struggled against the overwhelming presence of the clan head. Erica grimaced in pain and shouted, damn it. She gritted her teeth, her voice strained. How can we reach the top in this condition? Theo, also fighting against the heavy force, said, I think brute strength won't work here. Remington, calm amid the chaos, asked, what should we do then? Theo quickly replied, you have to match the mana's wavelength. Erica gasped for breath and asked, wavelength? Remington explained further, you mean creating an opposing wave to disrupt and neutralize the pressure? Theo nodded, impressed. Exactly. You always come through, Remy. He added, but that's easier said than done. He continued, this is their way of testing us. If you can't control your magic properly, you don't deserve to meet the clan head. Remington agreed with a serious look. You're right. Erica's frustration showed as she exclaimed, anti-phase wave? Interfere? Are you two speaking another language? Remington smiled slightly despite sweating and explained calmly, magic power is like a wave. It has vibrations. The clan head's aura is also made of waves. To get through it, we need to create a wave of magic power that opposes it. Erica stared in disbelief as she struggled to understand Remington's explanation. Her confusion turned to anger because she thought all his explanations were nonsense. She asked him, so you're saying I just have to create magic power that's opposite to this pressure? Remington simply replied, something like that. As the scene shifted to a barren mountain peak, Erica's anger boiled over. Her voice dripped with sarcasm as she snapped, you annoying goody two-shoes. Her rage intensified as she yelled, why didn't you explain it more clearly from the start? Remington muttered softly, goody two-shoes. Erica realized what she needed to do, but was still fuming. She turned to Remington and retorted, yeah, goody two-shoes. By the way, are you really 17? You talk like an old person. Theo began forming a swirling vortex of blue energy around him. The air crackled with power. Remington and Erica watched in stunned silence as Theo radiated an intense blue aura. They gasped in disbelief at how Theo managed to adapt to such powerful pressure. With determination in his eyes, Theo said to his friends, it's only natural for the next clan head. Pharaoh Ragnar observed from afar and was surprised by Theo declaring himself as clan head already. The group watched in awe as Theo continued gathering energy. His figure became a shining beacon of blue light. Remington exclaimed urgently, young Master Theo. Erica added with concern, hey Theo. Pharaoh Ragnar reminded them not to waste time since their points depended on their order of arrival. Startled by his words, they stared in shock while Pharaoh Ragnar chuckled softly from a rocky outcrop. He mused to himself, to think I'd want a disciple at my age. The wind howled around him as he continued his thoughts. The scene shifted to Camellia Palace where a loud voice boomed, Waha, my precious youngest daughter, where are you? Curson, the demon craftsman, rushed through palace halls with maids trailing behind him. My dear lucky charm. Curson called excitedly while maids whispered among themselves, oh my, the demon craftsman is here again. One commented, the palace has been more lively since young Master Theo became famous. Meanwhile, Cecilia Ragnar was talking with a tailor when Curson spotted her and exclaimed, so you were here, my dear Cecilia. Cecilia replied flustered, Mother, please keep decorum within palace grounds. Curson roared back without care. Decorum? Who cares about such silly manners? Curson declared excitedly. I'm about to become extremely wealthy. Cecilia skeptically asked, weren't you already wealthy? Curson's eyes sparkled with ambition as she declared, but not extremely wealthy. Leaning closer to Cecilia, she added eagerly, but soon I will be. Curson was known as the elf of capitalism incarnate. With joy in her voice, she explained, since Theo became popular, orders keep pouring into my workshop. She laughed heartily and added, my workshop has finally gained mainstream popularity. Cecilia smiled at Curson, but worried about Theo. She thought about him. Concern was clear on her face. But now that I'm seeing him in action, she worried about what if he gets hurt or can't handle all this attention and pressure. Cecilia clenched her fist in frustration. She felt helpless just waiting around. I can't hold back this frustration. The only thing I can do for him is things like this. She glanced at a beautiful clothing piece on display and sighed. I wish I could help him more practically. Curson remained undeterred and declared enthusiastically, the days of only making weapons are over. She gestured wildly and added, now I'll craft and sell accessories. Cecilia's worried expression remained as she watched Curson continue her excited rant. Curson's ambition soared higher as she exclaimed enthusiastically, grow my revenue tenfold. Then Curson turned to Cecilia with mischief sparkling in her eyes. Suddenly something clicked for Cecilia. Her eyes widened in realization. She turned to Curson and called out, Mother? Startled by her tone, Curson responded confusedly. Huh? Cecilia pressed further. Have you ever made a prosthetic arm? It seemed Cecilia wanted Curson to create a mechanical arm for Evelyn. The scene shifted again to Kyle Ragnar laughing loudly as he joyfully exclaimed, the next clan head he says. He roared with amusement while adding playfully, I like your boldness. A raven perched on his shoulder watched intently while Kyle thoughtfully stated, I know what you're worried about, but parents shouldn't stand in their children's way. He continued firmly, it's impossible to stop youthful ambition. We were just like that in our youth. He gazed out at fields filled with swords stuck in the ground, a reminder of past battles, known as the Graveyard of Swords. The raven cawed while Kyle chuckled softly, reassuringly. I told you not to worry, he said before his expression hardened as he declared resolutely, what I want is Ragnar's success. His voice echoed across desolate lands as he ominously added, I will deal with anything that threatens it. As wind howled around him, he concluded darkly, nothing is certain yet. There's still time to watch. The raven simply stared at the horizon while Kyle's eyes filled with dark determination stated grimly, even if my damn son. His gaze narrowed dangerously as Theo dashed forward with incredible speed. Kyle's voice filled with dark intensity concluded ominously that Theo is indeed a regressor. We see Kyle Ragnar, the clan leader, surrounded by a huge red glow, holding a large sword and smiling broadly. He greets Theo with a deep, growling voice, saying, you have finally arrived, my son. His words felt heavy, more like a statement than a simple hello. Standing tall with his massive sword by his side, he marked the start of something significant. The atmosphere was thick with challenge. Theo, the young man, struggled to catch his breath as he climbed. He glanced down at the ground, feeling the immense pressure weighing on him, his face twisted in a grimace from the effort. A swirling red aura surrounded him. He thought to himself, it took me 4 hours to climb what should have taken only 1, his body shaking. This pressure is overwhelming. The world around him pulsed with a dark energy. The ground was scattered with swords, evidence of those who had come before him. The weapons stood like tombstones in a graveyard, shrouded in crimson mist. Kyle's voice echoed in the emptiness as he asked Theo, do you know what all this is? Theo had heard tales about this place, but witnessing it was different. This is the Graveyard of Broken Swords. I've heard that these are the swords of those you have defeated, my lord. Theo replied. Kyle's voice turned sharp as he responded. Correct. This is what it means to be clan head. You must stand alone against endless threats and challenges, never truly relying on anyone else. It's a position ruled by strength, he continued. You must rise above everyone else using your own power. Do you believe you deserve such a position? He asked. Hearing Kyle's words, Theo looked back at him with determination in his eyes and said firmly, yes. It was a small act of defiance against his imposing father. Kyle's expression darkened as he warned, don't answer so lightly. I have slain thousands to be here. Can you say the same? Have you felt their anger? Before Theo could respond, the air crackled with energy. The voices of the slain surged forth as blue souls filled the space with their rage and sorrow. Kyle, I curse you forever, they screamed. How could you commit such terrible acts? The spectral figures of those Kyle had killed appeared, faces twisted in pain and hatred. The cacophony of curses grew louder. I will rip you apart, they threatened with seething anger. Despite this overwhelming hostility, Theo stood firm. Amidst the chaos, he declared, My resolve remains unchanged. Kyle looked at Theo menacingly and asked, Why is that? Theo replied resolutely, To avenge my past life, he declared. I aim to become clan head and end this cursed battle for power. He gripped his sword tightly and added, I am ready to face any challenge for my mission, though doubt flickered across his face as he thought to himself that this might not be the answer Kyle wanted. With a swift motion of his sword, Theo prepared himself. His voice rang strong, I will respond with my sword. A cruel smile spread across Kyle's face as he seemed amused by this challenge. Very well, Kyle said excitedly. I will treat you not as my son, but as an opponent. He paused and stared intensely at Theo. Let's see what you've learned from her teachings. The mention of her caught Theo off guard. Confusion crossed his face as he exclaimed in surprise. Did he just say her? A dark realization dawned on him. Did he just refer to her? Drawing his blade with grim understanding, he thought, As I suspected, my father is the one who took Lodbrok's heart. His eyes widened in realization just before chaos erupted around him. Am I dead? Theo wondered as darkness enveloped him. It felt like he was no longer in control of his body. Suddenly, an overwhelming surge of power jolted through him. His heart raced as Kyle unleashed a powerful attack. With a smile on his face that suggested amusement at the situation, Kyle addressed a black crow perched beside him. Huh? Are you worried our little prodigy will perish? He asked the bird. The crow chirped twice, its glowing eyes fixed on them. Kyle acknowledged its chirp and then turned serious. You're right, only those with true will and determination can break free from this heart sword. Kyle's tone turned cold. This is a harsh challenge for someone inexperienced during an awakening ceremony, he muttered. But if your resolve is weak, it's better if you die here as a lost soul. I don't want a failure who will harm our clan. The world around Theo darkened, an oppressive void that seemed to seep into his very being. As consciousness faded away, Theo thought, I'm dead. I suppose that's expected since my father struck me down. His thoughts felt detached as if observing his own end. A sense of peace washed over him as he reflected. I have no regrets. I've done all I could. He replayed moments from his life like scenes from a movie. I stole Chamelia Palace. I killed Renan and Axion. These memories weighed heavily on him. Everything was just luck, he realized, the truth hitting him hard. Calmness enveloped him. This life was happier than my last. A gentle smile graced his face. That's right. My time has come. It's time for me to leave. His thoughts faded into nothingness. Rest peacefully, echoed distantly as consciousness slipped away. A final image of swirling darkness vanished when suddenly, a loud voice broke through the silence. Hey now! A magnificent beast appeared, a creature made of shadows and light. Enough already, get up, it ordered. If you're going to sulk like this, you should have let me devour you. A single spark ignited, small but powerful. It grew into flames that licked at the edges of darkness. You're right. Thanking it silently for its encouragement, newfound strength surged through Theo. He felt alive again, the cold grip of death receding before determination. I can't let this be my end, he thought, as consciousness began returning. His legs moved, the ground crunching beneath them. I swore it to myself. He resolved as he raised his head, his eyes glowing with fierce inner light, his mind sharp and clear. He drew his sword. A wave of power flowed through him. I may break, he thought as he felt stretched to his limits but held firm. But I will never yield. He roared defiantly into the darkness. His body moved instinctively, a dance of motion and strength. His sword became a blur of light. The power released from his attack shattered darkness into countless pieces. Theo watched in awe, his vision clearing, as everything around him seemed to break apart while he lunged forward, his sword glowing with potent blue light. He had survived. Kyle lowered his gaze, his expression unreadable. You pass, Kyle declared. the words starkly contrasting his earlier cruel demeanor. He acknowledged Theo's victory with pride in his tone. Theo stood there, chest rising and falling rapidly, but despite being pushed to the brink, he had survived. 1 week later, at clan headquarters buzzed with activity. The day of nominations had arrived, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Hulkus, visibly uncomfortable beside Erica, looked lost among the crowd. "There are way too many people here." His voice trembled with anxiety. "It's making me nervous." He shifted restlessly. Erica rolled her eyes with a teasing smirk. "How can someone so big be so timid?" Hulkus bristled at her comment, defensiveness creeping into his voice. "I'm not timid, you're just bold." He retorted loudly about every commander present, the 9 dragons, the former clan leader and current clan head. "So many heroes are here," he exclaimed eagerly. "You're such a baby," Erica teased again. "Relax already. No one will care about someone who couldn't even master elemental breathing." Her mocking tone made Hulkus sputter in disbelief. "What did you say?" Hulkus asked, wide-eyed in shock. His frustration turned into humiliation. Anger bubbled inside him. Hulkus sighed nervously, glancing around wildly. "Can you just tell me already?" he demanded impatiently. "What did you get from the clan head during stage 3? His frustration peaked. "It's a secret," Erica replied coolly. Hulkus' face twisted into outrage. "You're so stingy, sis," he yelled angrily. "My Theo would have shared already." Erica raised an eyebrow skeptically at Hulkus' declaration. "My Theo?" she questioned incredulously. "What are you talking about?" Hulkus turned away, hardening his expression. "You know, the lifelink is through Ragnar's sword," he declared boldly. "We have bet our lives on Ragnar. In that case, I want someone cool and strong who possesses all power and ambition. That person is Theo. I want to bet my life on him," Hulkus asserted with newfound determination shining in his eyes. "That's why he's my Theo." Erica questioned if Theo agreed to this. Hulkus paused thoughtfully. "Does it have to?" he asked uncertainly. "I was just planning on joining the same unit. I don't know why, but the clan head said not to bring Theo into clan head's manor," he stated firmly, determined, light shining in his eyes. "So I should be able to follow him." Steady footsteps echoed throughout the grand hall, the sound resonating against stone floors. "Attention!" Vanna Ragnar announced loudly over the crowd while holding her staff high. "The nomination ceremony shall now begin. The overall valedictorian is Theo Ragnar," Vanna announced with forced respect, stepping forward. Cheers erupted from the crowd, the energy palpable. They chanted loudly, echoing throughout the building. Theo stepped out into the vast courtyard behind him. They cheered while maintaining an unusual calmness under their watchful eyes. Evelyn watched from afar with longing eyes. "I wish he would join our white-armored dragon cavalry," she mused selfishly. Standing alone in center courtyard, "Congratulations on being overall valedictorian," Vanna said, admiring every category where Theo excelled. It was awe-inspiring until suddenly a sharp sound pierced through movement, causing everyone to turn their attention. Vanna's expression shifted into disbelief as Ed Troven, director of Central Intelligence Bureau, stepped forward. Confusion rippled through crowd, murmurs erupted. "Is this about avenging Axion?" While 9 Dragons head Ragnar watched closely, anticipating what would unfold next. "Central Director," Vanna began, strained voice betraying unease. "I don't know what your intentions are, but please sit back down," she commanded firmly. "Theo Ragnar," Ed stated loudly, causing stunned silence among attendees. Mused, knowing Sky Dragon, likely still shocked over Axion's death, however wouldn't dare disrupt nomination ceremony. Ed Troven extended an offer accompanied by a disarming smile playing across lips, suggesting deputy director position announced. Theo narrowed his eyes suspiciously. Distrust clouded over him entirely. Theo's valedictorian status held special meaning as a Ragnar. He had started at the lowest position. An image of a cracked dark egg in a nest of twigs illustrated his humble beginnings. Yet he rose up and took flight, a silhouette of a majestic dragon soaring against a bright sky, symbolizing his ascent. People talked amongst themselves. One person whispered, "I knew that he had become strong, but to think he'd kill Axion." Another added, "I heard that he was even about to kill a proctor before he was stopped." Theo's story, rising from the bottom to the top, resonated deeply within the hearts of many apprentice swordsmen. The crowd buzzed with changed perceptions, shifting from disdain to admiration. The imbecile of Ragnar ceased to exist. A notification popped up. You have become the overall valedictorian of the awakening ceremony. Another message flashed. Congratulations. You have completed scenario quest number 3, Victor of the Awakening Ceremony. You have obtained Ether Core as a reward. The reward has been stored in your inventory. Theo thought to himself, alright, I forgot I had a quest, looking at the notification panel with a curious expression. He wondered, Ether Core? What kind of item is that? Considering how long this quest took, it's probably something really nice. He glanced over at Ed Troen, who stood amidst the crowd. Theo thought, the Central Intelligence Bureau, narrowing his eyes slightly. Ed Troen smiled warmly, extending a hand toward Theo. He said, I would like to offer you the position of Deputy Director. Theo stood in silence, his gaze sharp and focused solely on Ed Troen. He used his skill to observe Ed Troen. Ed's details were displayed. Name, Ed Troen. Age 46. Title, Skydrag Talent, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Status, aims to take Theo Ragnar under his wing and use him as a pawn to uncover the secrets of the relics of the primordial dragon. Theo mused, that's what I thought, he's aiming for the relics. He steeled himself and vowed, unfortunately for you, nothing will ever go your way again. You Troans will be crushed by my hands, clenching his fist. Central Director Julius Ragnar demanded, what is the meaning of this? Ed responded calmly, I'm merely offering a position to a talented individual according to the procedure of the nomination ceremony. Is something wrong? Julius retorted angrily, don't insult our intelligence. Everyone can see that this is a thinly veiled plot to avenge your nephew. Ed chuckled softly and said, I can see why you'd think that, but you're mistaken. Though I may hold anger as an individual, as Central Director, I only wish to recruit the best talent. This snake, does he only care about fulfilling his objective even after the death of his nephew? Vahana Ragnar interjected firmly, saying, Stop. I understand your desire for talented personnel, but we have yet to formally begin the proceedings. Hold your horses. He turned to Theo now and asked, Theo Ragnar, have you made up your mind or are you not yet ready? Theo met Vanna's gaze and replied, truth be told, I have not been able to decide yet. That's why I'd like to hear what offers there are. Theo admitted with a hint of a smile playing on his lips as he turned his gaze across the grand hall. Osa Ragnar Plonus stepped forward with her hand raised. She declared, I, Osa Ragnar Plonus, offer Theo Ragnar not only my promise to make him my disciple, but also the position of Junior Lord of the Plum Blossom Palace. The crowd erupted in murmurs. One person exclaimed in surprise, Did she say Junior Lord? Another whispered in disbelief, Lady Plum Blossom doesn't have any children of her own. A third voice added astonishedly, This is like promising to accept him as an adopted son. Theo watched her. Someone in the crowd noted he'd become the successor of the Sword Dragon. Remington remarked excitedly, 2 of the 9 dragons have already stepped up. Amazing, Hulkus exclaimed enthusiastically. You really are incredible, young Master Theo. Erica added thoughtfully, most commanders and directors won't be able to compete against such offers. A lone figure stood amidst the clouds. A bird flew nearby. A voice declared confidently, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring as well. A powerful force crashed down suddenly. It shook the very foundations of the hall with its impact. A figure descended, shrouded in dark energy. The figure landed, revealing Robert Ragnar, the Black Dragon, with long white hair and part of his face obscured by a dark mask. Someone exclaimed in shock, It's the Black Dragon! To think even he would join in! Robert Ragnar looked directly at Theo and said firmly, Theo Ragnar, I've been observing you throughout the awakening ceremony. Theo met his gaze. He thought in disbelief that Robert had been watching him. Robert invited him earnestly, saying, Come to Black Snow. I'll offer you the rank of Null Snow. Theo recalled that Black Snow is an intelligence agency requiring its agents to act in secret. However, he knew that attaining Null Snow, the highest rank within Black Snow, would allow one to maintain a public persona and gain fame and honor. He reminisced about his time in Black Snow, thinking, when I was there were only 8 members. He reflected on how hard he tried to attain it in his past life, yet it always seemed far out of reach. He thought excitedly now, to think I could obtain it so easily. Pharaoh Ragnar, drawing attention back to himself, saying warmly, Theo Ragnar, you left quite a lasting impression during Stage 3. He smiled at Theo, adding sincerely, I hope you don't forget about my Zenith Academy. Aaron exclaimed incredulously. Zenith Dragon Master Pharaoh Ragnar? What? Even Zenith Dragon? Evelyn chimed in excitedly. That's 4 out of the 9 dragons. Let's not forget there's still one more. Julius declared firmly. Demon Dragon Commander of the White Armored Dragon Cavalry will not offer any special treatment to Theo Ragnar. Aaron exclaimed in surprise. He's choosing now to stick to his guns. Evelyn added admiringly. As expected from our commander, he believes that honor comes from proving oneself. Julius continued resolutely saying, My desire to recruit him is great, but I cannot give him any special treatment. It would not be fair to other recruits. He concluded with his gaze fixed on Theo. Theo stood at the center of the hall, taking a deep breath and closing his eyes for a moment before reopening them with determination glinting within them. He smirked and declared confidently, I will choose. Suddenly, sharp voice laced with an unknown power cut through the air, saying, You're a regressor, aren't you? Theo's eyes widened in surprise as he whipped around searching for its source. His gaze landed on Hilda, the former clan head, sitting gracefully on her throne with her eyes fixed on him. He swallowed hard, feeling suddenly dry. He replied cautiously neutral, I have no idea what you mean. Hilda's lips curled into a knowing smile as she said amusedly, I don't know what kind of life you lived in your previous cycle, but your acting is impeccable, truly impressive. Theo's mind raced trying to comprehend this situation, wondering what she meant by cycle. Is there by chance a set number for regression? Vanna Ragnar said concernedly, Is something the matter? You don't look well. Theo asked, slightly strained, Could I please be given a moment to gather my thoughts? Vanna replied, nodding respectfully, As you wish. This is indeed an important decision. However, don't take too long. Hilda leaned back on her throne, smirking playfully, saying, There's no need to hide it. After all, I'm also a regressor. She revealed confidently, though, her cycles permitted are now over. Theo stared at her, reeling from her words. She reiterated it. Her implication suggested she's experienced multiple regressions. His thoughts raced, narrowing as he wondered how many regressors could there be. He realized he's dealing with a former clan head. It would be quicker just asking directly now. By cycles, do you mean that one can regress multiple times? Hilda replied casually, amusedly. Wait, you don't know? Kyle must not have told you anything. She shrugged nonchalantly, adding thoughtfully, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Kyle hates regressors. He questioned confusedly. What? Is that why he gave me such a brutal challenge? She observed him closely, noting thoughtfully, You look like you have many questions. Sadly, we don't have time. She added firmly, stating clearly now, If you wish to learn about this world's secrets and our clan, come find me. Theo stared at her determinedly, his mind tumultuous during stage 3 when Father provided no answers except presenting him with Elbrock's heart sword. He looked down, remembering events from ceremony, reflecting bitterly, now thinking, So Father hates regressors. Elbrock's energy, which I sensed from him back then. A realization dawned on him suddenly, asking himself incredulously now, The stolen heart of Elbrock? Was it really Father who took Elbrock's heart? Is it because Elbrock is an ancient dragon that welcomes regressors? He looked up, fixing his gaze on Kyle Ragnar, who sat upon his throne watching him. But it just might be possible for Father, who is called demigod. He turned away resolutely, deciding now, thinking firmly within himself, I must uncover clan-related secrets about regression. Vanna Ragnar's voice broke through thoughts, asking pointedly now, Now then, Theo Ragnar, has your heart decided where you will go? Theo took a deep breath and affirmatively answered boldly, Yes, I have decided. He raised his voice, I will. And moment that he wanted to announce his final decision, this chapter ends. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Support this channel by liking this video and subscribing the channel. And if you want me to recap another manhwa or manga, write its name on comment section. And if want to know what happened in previous chapter, you can watch them in this YouTube channel.